Good morning, y'all. It is Tuesday, y'all, the 26th of November, 2024. Hope you had a good Monday. Monday. Wasn't a bad Monday. Wasn't a great Monday, but it was a good Monday. So I had a good day. I actually went for a walk last night or yesterday when Corey got off work. So got some fresh air. It was in the 50s. Today's going to be 40 something and then get cold by the end of the week. But enjoy the nicer weather while we can. And so tonight, our church will be having our Pie and Praise night, and we won't be having our midweek service on Wednesday night because Thanksgiving is on Thursday. So we'll do a Pie and Praise where we gather together, we fellowship, and talk about being thankful, what we're thankful for this past year. And I gave what I'm thankful for yesterday. I asked you to put in the comments what you're thankful for. If you're watching this today, put in the comments what you're thankful for. Whether you're watching this live on Facebook, later on Facebook, or if you're watching this on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, just put in the comments what you're thankful for. God wants to hear from you. And I would like to know what you're thankful for. I am continuing on that. I'm thankful for the church we have, that we have a pastor that stands on the word of God and doesn't waver on it. And he preaches and teaches from the Bible. And I'm thankful we have a Bible that we can go to and that is perfect without error. There's no problems in it. The King James Bible, I'm thankful for that. And I'm thankful for many things. Maybe we'll talk more about those tomorrow. So, yesterday I put in the title, Wrapping Up 1 Corinthians 13. Well, today we should wrap it up. And so we'll look at this today. 1 Corinthians chapter 13. We'll start at verse 9. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 9. Now, we wrapped up yesterday, breaking down verse 8. Charity never faileth, but whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there should be knowledge, it shall vanisheth away. Prophecy, we have the sure word of prophecy. But when we look into something here in just a moment, there's some things to understand about the prophecy and the Bible. And then we looked at tongues, that they vanisheth away. They shall cease. I'm sorry, tongues they shall cease. Now, the tongues as they were in Acts chapter 1 and 2, and early on in the gospel or in the book of Acts, those are no longer here. And we'll look at what those tongues were. Those tongues are no longer here and that way they were used. But there are tongues out here today, but not as this one group of a whole believes that they are what tongues are. We'll show in 1 Corinthians 14 what they are and what they are not, what they were and what they are not anymore. So, and then whether there should be knowledge, it shall vanish away. Knowledge, we're devolving as a species. We're not getting better, even though we're getting more technologically advanced. We're devolving in the fact that we're not relying on our own intuition. We're relying on computers to do everything for us. So we are dumbing down as a society. We really are. We're allowing computers and technology to dictate. AI is running rampant. It's getting crazy. That's why in the end of Daniel says, men will run to and fro and knowledge shall be increased. Worldly knowledge increases, but a knowledge of God decreases. And when knowledge vanish away, technically speaking, from a Bible standpoint, knowledge of God is vanishing away because people aren't hearing the Bible. They're not getting sound doctrinal teaching like we're supposed to. So this world is prepping itself for the Antichrist. Now, verse 9, I don't want to get back on a rabbit trail on that. Verse 9, for we know in part, and we prophesy in part. Prophesy in part. This verse is very interesting. We don't know everything there is about God. It's impossible for us to know everything about him. If we did know everything about God, we'd end up like Lucifer, wanting to be above God. He wanted to be like the Most High. So, but what did God do? He had to kick him down from being able to reign in heaven. He had to kick him out because he was trying to take over heaven. And if we knew everything about it there was about God, we'd probably want to do the same thing. So that's why we only know in part. And we prophesy in part. That prophecy, this Bible is full of prophecy. There's things that are actually being opened up to us. The closer we get to the Lord's return, the more this Bible is actually opening up to us. And so we have to look at this when we go to read our Bible, ask God to show us something that we maybe not have seen before. Show us some little nuggets, some things that'll help us, and maybe even some deeper things. I really feel like the Lord's been showing me things the last couple years, things that I didn't see before, but things that kind of go against the grain of some of the normal theological teachings when it comes to prophecy. But why? Because as we get closer to the Lord's return, the more this thing is opening up and we can see. 20 some years ago, we didn't know exactly what the mark of the beast would entail. We just knew that you had to have some kind of mark to buy or sell. One of our teachings was among Bible believers is some kind of tattoo on the right hand or in the forehead. But the King James Bible is the only one that keeps it that it's in your right hand or in your forehead. What do we have now? We have technology that can be implanted to your skin, and it's already being used. It's been used on pets, it's used on Alzheimer's patients, and it's been started to be used on people, general population. And you can be tracked and you can buy and sell with it. You can just go click, your little debit card that you put on that little reader thing on a card reader, and it goes beep beep. That's a chip, and you can buy or sell through that chip because it accesses your bank account information. See what I'm saying? 20 years ago, we didn't see that. Today, we do. It's crazy. So things are opening up to where we can see more clearly. So, but for we know in part and we prophesy in part. But verse 10, and this gets a lot of people screwed up here. But when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. We only partly know God. But when he comes back, Jesus Christ comes back, we're going to fully know who he is. That which is perfect is in response. That is Jesus Christ. He is perfect. He's without blemish. He's holy. He's righteous. He's just. So when it says that which is perfect is come, it's a reference to Jesus Christ. And that which is in part shall be done away. That partial knowledge that we have, it's going to be on full display when he sets his foot back on this earth. So that which is in part, but that which is perfect is come. And if you want to understand a little bit what I'm saying here, you can go to the end of John chapter, well, let's just go there. John chapter 22. About only knowing in part about God and Jesus Christ. The last part of the Gospel of John, John the Apostle says something very interesting. So go to John chapter 21 and start at verse 24. John chapter 21, verse 24. This is the disciple which testifieth of these things and wrote these things that we may know that his testimony is true. And there are also many other things which Jesus did, the which if they should be written, every one, I suppose that even the world itself could not contain the books that should be written. That's just about his earthly ministry and all that he did here for that 3.5 years. The world couldn't even contain the books. So can you imagine everything about God? The universe couldn't contain that information in books. That's how deep God is. But when Christ comes back and sets his foot here, we're going to see him face to face. Verse 11, when I was a child, I spake as a child, and I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. When he was young, he had childish things. But when he was older, he had adult things. So that's our Christian journey. We start as a child when we get saved, and then we grow into adulthood. But one thing we've noticed about the Corinthians, they stayed as a child. They wouldn't grow. They were carnal. They were worldly. They were caught up in the small stuff, and they couldn't see the bigger picture of things. Verse 12, for now we see through a glass darkly. We can't see everything there is about God. We have a Bible that's a lot written about him, but the world itself and the universe couldn't contain all the books that should be written about him. We just have a small little bit. For now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. That which is in part and that which is perfect is come. That goes with that verse. But then shall I know. But then face to face. And now I know in part, but then I shall know even as also I am known. We only see part, but when he comes back and steps his foot here, we're going to see him completely. It's crazy to think. And those in heaven right now are with him. Those that have passed on, they're with him and they're in his presence. But one day, he's coming back here. And that one day could be very, very soon. But look at verse 13. And now abideth faith, hope, and charity. Faith is the substance of things hoped for. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So we abide in faith, hope, and charity. And charity is showing the love of Christ. Not just talking about it, but showing it. And to show the full love of Christ, you have to show the full judgment of Christ. But the greatest of these is charity. Charity is love in action. And it is the greatest of those three things. That's all I've got for you today. Hope you have a good day today. Good day and good night tonight. And pray for one another. Pray for the one that got saved at chapel the other night. Pray for another driver that was struggling with some things. He needs some prayers. Pray for one another. Pray for your pastor this week. And again, if you know somebody that's lonely and doesn't have family around, please reach out to them this Thanksgiving holiday. Give them some encouragement. Maybe even take them a dinner. All right, that's all I got. God bless y'all, and I will talk to you tomorrow.